6 US cents, 75 euro cents and 66 pence sterling.
Now, Rod North is the Executive Director of the Investor Relations company Bourse Communications, and he joins us now. Rod, good to see you again. Good morning. First of all, take us through the situation of the local share market and also overseas. There's a lot of factors bouncing around here, some beyond our control and some self-created that are really affecting things.
And I think yesterday we saw sort of evidence of how the market reacted to the carbon tax announcement.
Yes.
We saw sort of winners and losers on the day. I mean, particularly if you look at the losers, obviously the mining and resource sector suffered quite significantly with drops of sort of 2 to 3% in companies in the coal, steel sector and so forth. I mean, Qantas and Virgin dropped about 2 to 3% as well, and then Qantas announced a downgrade and also indicated that it foresaw its costs into 2012-2013 for the carbon tax at about 100 to 115 million. So yeah. I think a lot of companies are sort of rearranging the deck chairs a bit, and a lot of them probably would be putting out profit warnings anyway at this time of the year. But then we saw the clean technology sector, where we saw some gains from companies like Geodynamics that increased 45%. So there's always some winners, but a lot of it came against the backdrop of the news out in the US on Friday, where we saw the employment figures only increase for June by about 15,000. They're expecting sort of 150,000. So that left the unemployment rate at 9.2%, which is sort of way too high for the US. And then we got the China inflation figures, which have come out showing inflation in China has accelerated quite dramatically over the last couple of years to 6.4%. So it's a sort of bigger picture of US and China that perhaps we need to be concerned about. And of course then overnight we've had the issue where that sort of effect in Europe with Italy now looking as if it could be in a bit of a few problems as well in terms of their debt situation. So it's the big picture that's sort of weighing on local markets at the moment. Of course, the Dow had quite a big drop last night as well as a result of that. So that, we had some quite good days last week and the week before with the markets rising, but we saw a significant drop on the Dow last night. So that uncertainty's come back into the market again, unfortunately.
So with the market's response to carbon pricing, at what point do you take a read on it that you can actually trust?
Well, I think it's a real wait and see. I mean, so much of the evaluation process is being undertaken at the moment, and I mean, everyone's got an opinion. And I don't think we really know the full effects of what the carbon tax is going to do yet. I mean, it's going to affect, different sectors in different ways. But generally, the consensus from a business point of view is that its greatest concerns are, I suppose, employment and passing on those costs. And I mean, the full effect of that is only going to be known through the passage of time and, of course, when the legislation comes into effect next year.
Now, Rod, I think I'm close to just not paying much attention anymore to home loan approvals figures, because they bounce around so much. I mean, the latest ones out yesterday, I think, contradicted the ones before.
Well, they did, and this was sort of the one bright spot. And I think a lot of it's got to do with the fact that home loans increased by 4.4% for that month, for the most recent month. And I mean, the significance of that...
They're coming off a reasonably low base.
They were coming off a reasonably low base, but I think the other factor is that because we haven't seen a rate increase since November last year, I think that's given people a bit more confidence. So that's the most significant lending that we've seen for some time. And
perhaps suggestion of maybe even a rate cut. Do you think that might have, or is that too recent to have shown up in those figures?
Well,
do you think?
I'm sort of tipping that we're not going to, as I think I said on the show the last time I was on, that I didn't think we'd see another rate increase this year. But I think depending on what happens on the world scene, in particular in relation to China and the US, I think there's every chance that we could see a rate cut in Australia at some stage down the track before the end of the year as well.
And today we get an indication of business confidence?
Business confidence figures out today. They'll be really critical because obviously that will indicate what the mood is in business in terms of where it sees the current position at the moment.
Rod North, always good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.